Urgent news this evening: a startling development in Yandy Smith's vehicle accident has left fans incredulous over the events that transpired on Buford Highway and the recent arrest of Mrs. Remain attentive as we reveal the truth behind this astonishing narrative. Yandy Smith recently addressed the harrowing car crash that has profoundly impacted her life. In an exclusive statement, she recounted the alarming moment when her circumstances shifted dramatically. "I was driving normally, I heard a sound, and the next thing I knew, I lost control. It all happened so fast." These remarks from the reality TV star and entrepreneur were succinct yet provoked further inquiries. How did an ostensibly routine drive devolve into such a disastrous event? What was the enigmatic sound she perceived prior to losing control? Paramedics transported Yandy to the hospital, where physicians are diligently working to stabilize her. The severity of her injuries remains secret. However, sources close to the family indicate that she is in serious condition. Yandy's condition has been the subject of intense medical attention ever since the devastating crash that left her fighting for her life. A team of medical specialists has been diligently overseeing her treatment to ensure she receives the best possible care during her recovery. The severity of her injuries has raised serious concerns, with doctors working around the clock to manage her multiple traumas. Each day, her condition is reassessed to determine the most appropriate treatment plan moving forward, as some of her injuries might require surgical intervention. This time, Yandy remains in a confidential medical facility, one that is secure and designed to provide her with the necessary privacy and care she needs. The exact location of the facility has been kept undisclosed to protect her and her recovery process from public scrutiny. Those closest to her have remained tight-lipped about the specifics, but sources close to the situation have revealed that her injuries are numerous, and the road to recovery will likely be long and grueling. Her team has emphasized that they are focusing on her well-being, prioritizing her healing over releasing details to the press. Witnesses who were present at the scene of the crash have offered chilling accounts of the aftermath. One bystander, who was among the first to arrive at the scene, described the wreckage as nearly unidentifiable. "It was horrifying," the witness recalled. "The vehicle was in such a mangled state, we thought there was no way anyone could have survived. It didn't look like there was anything left to salvage, let alone anyone alive inside." The extent of the destruction to the vehicle was so extreme that initial reports focused heavily on the likelihood of a fatal outcome. The scene was a testament to the violent nature of the crash, with debris scattered across the road and the vehicle itself twisted beyond recognition. First responders, shocked by the devastation, worked quickly to pull Yandy from the wreckage, and they were able to stabilize her enough to transport her to the medical facility. Despite the severity of the crash, her survival was nothing short of miraculous, but the extent of the trauma she sustained left both medical personnel and witnesses in disbelief. Yandy remains in her hospital bed. Surrounded by medical professionals, she struggles to comprehend the situation she's found herself in. The physical pain is immense, but perhaps the mental and emotional toll is even more overwhelming. After surviving such a catastrophic accident, coming to terms with what has happened and processing the trauma is a difficult journey that she must now begin. From her hospital room, Yandy has attempted to piece together the events of the crash, but many details remain hazy. The impact was so sudden and violent that it left her with gaps in her memory, which only adds to her confusion and distress. For someone so accustomed to being in control of her surroundings, being reduced to a state of vulnerability and uncertainty is both humbling and harrowing. Initial medical reports have confirmed that Yandy sustained numerous injuries, including fractures, internal injuries, and damage to vital organs. Some of these injuries, doctors have said, will require surgeries in the coming weeks to ensure proper healing and to prevent further complications. As her team continues to monitor her progress, the focus is on stabilizing her condition and preparing for any necessary procedures. Despite the dire circumstances, there remains a sense of cautious optimism. The fact that she is still conscious, alert, and receiving treatment means that there is hope for a full recovery, though the road ahead will not be easy. The medical specialists are working diligently to manage her pain and ensure that she gets the care needed to heal physically and emotionally. As Yendi faces this challenging moment in her life, the world waits to see how she will emerge from this tragedy, knowing that her resilience will be key to overcoming the hurdles that lie ahead. The events that transpired together, a troubling idea arose in her mind. Was this only an accident, or was something more nefarious at work? This is where events took a sinister turn. Just before Yendi departed from home, mechanics in DC had removed her automobile for repairs, despite Yandi's conviction that the vehicle was in good condition. I told Mendy my car didn't need any work, but he insisted he took it anyway. 2 hours later, he brought it back, then I left alone. He refused to come with me. This revelation has raised serious concerns. If Yendi felt there was nothing wrong with her vehicle, why did Mrs. insist on taking it, and what happened in those 2 crucial hours while it was out of her possession? Authorities are now investigating what exactly was done to the car during that time. Was there a mechanical failure, or did someone tamper with something? The timing is highly suspicious, and police are not ruling anything out. Adding to the mystery, Yendi remarked that M was troubled before she left. His face, I could sense something was wrong. He looked unhappy. I felt it in my stomach, but I didn't know what it was. Does this suggest MES knew anything about the car before Yendi drove off? If so, why didn't he say anything? Investigators are currently reviewing security footage from Yandi's residence, hoping to piece together the missing hours between when Mrs. took the car and when he returned it. Authorities have since taken MES Harris into custody for questioning as they determine the cause of this incident. At this time, we are conducting a thorough investigation. We have taken MES Harris into custody for questioning as we determine the cause of this incident. The statement from the police department has fueled speculation. While no charges have been filed yet, many are wondering why take him into custody if he had nothing to do with it. Social media is alive with conjecture. Followers are demanding answers, attempting to fit the pieces together. Tweet number 1: I lack faith in this. What motivated men? DC's insist on seizing the automobile if nothing was wrong. Tweet number 2: This seems wrong. Yendi sensed something wasn't right before she left. This can't be a coincidence. Tweet number 3: Was this an accident or something more? We need answers. The online discussion has grown even more intense, with speculation about past incidents in the couple's relationship. Some fans are pointing to M's legal history as a potential red flag. If there was any foul play involved, authorities will be looking at phone records, security footage, and vehicle diagnostics to determine if the crash was truly accidental. If any evidence of tampering is found, Mrs. could be facing serious charges. Several technicians have weighed in on what may have gone wrong with the car. According to experts, probable sabotage tactics include removing the brakes, disconnecting traction control, cutting key cables. A forensic vehicle specialist noted there are several ways someone may destroy a car if police suspect foul play. Forensic mechanics will be searching for these indicators. Officials are already searching through evidence, surveillance video, black box data, and forensic investigation of the automobile will play a vital part in ascertaining the truth. The investigation is underway, and authorities are advising the public to avoid conjecture until facts emerge. Yandi's close friends and relatives have voiced their worries. One friend who wished to remain anonymous shared Yendi was worried about something that day. She didn't say much, but I could tell something was off. She had a bad feeling before she left. If Yendi had a premonition that something was wrong, why did she proceed with her plans? Was she unaware of any potential danger, or did she simply not want to believe it? But here's where things get even more bizarre. Sources claim that Ems received a phone call few minutes before Yandi's accident. Who was on the other line? And why was this call removed from his phone records? Investigators are working to retrieve phone data to determine if this call was related to the accident. If this deleted call holds any significance, it could change the course of the entire case. If investigators find any evidence of sabotage, Mrs. could face charges ranging from reckless endangerment to attempted manslaughter, depending on intent and evidence. Tweet number 4: Too many questions. Who else had access to the vehicle? What did the cops uncover? This is nuts. Tweet number 5: I hope Yendi comes through, but if Messi's did anything unethical, he has to be held responsible. Legal experts say that although no official charges have been filed yet, the arrest itself signals that law enforcement is considering this case very seriously. Expert 1: We have to investigate all options. Could this be a case of deliberate injury, or was there just it was supposed to be a routine operation? Another day in the life of high-stakes technology, where everything is meticulously monitored, analyzed, and regulated. But what happened that day was anything but routine. A catastrophic technical malfunction, which had been quietly brewing in the background, went unnoticed by the countless experts and technicians who were supposed to be overseeing the systems in place. By the time the severity of the situation became apparent, it was already too late. The malfunction had been subtle at first, tiny anomalies in data reports that, on their own, seemed insignificant. But over time, those anomalies began to snowball. The monitoring systems, which were designed to flag irregularities and alert the team immediately, failed. No alarms, no warnings, nothing to signal that the normal operation was about to spiral into disaster. It was only when the damage had already been done that the true extent of the malfunction became clear. The problem? It wasn't the equipment itself, but rather a failure in the detection systems that were, ironically, designed to detect failures in the equipment. An odd paradox that seemed to defy logic. How could the very systems in place to detect malfunctions be the ones responsible for allowing it to happen? The question lingered unanswered as the investigation unfolded. One of the first experts to be called in was Dr. Amelia Yendy, a specialist in systems diagnostics and an authority on identifying latent vulnerabilities within high-tech infrastructures. Known for her keen eye and methodical approach, Yendy quickly noticed something odd about the incident. As she pored over the technical records, she could see that the malfunction wasn't simply a random error. It felt intentional, or at the very least, suspiciously orchestrated. Her instincts told her that there was more to the story, and she wasn't about to let it slide. Yendy's theory, though highly speculative, raised an important point. Could the malfunction have been triggered by external forces, or perhaps even by someone within the organization? The idea that a technical failure could be so massive and yet go undetected for so long seemed to suggest a deeper, more sinister layer to the incident. She brought her concerns to the investigating team, and after much deliberation, the decision was made to bring in law enforcement to dig deeper into the matter. As the investigation began to take shape, one of the first names that surfaced was Guy D. A figure known both for his technical expertise and his controversial past, Guy D had a history that made many in the industry uneasy. Though his reputation was that of a genius engineer, his personal life was far less pristine. Over the years, rumors had circulated about his involvement in shady deals, his tendency to push the limits of ethical behavior, and his connections to organizations with dubious intentions. While no direct evidence had ever emerged to suggest his involvement in any criminal activity, the mere association with such groups was enough to raise eyebrows, given Guy D's past and the unusual nature of the malfunction. Law enforcement quickly recognized the need to examine him as a potential person of interest. His expertise meant that he could have easily manipulated systems from the inside, and his history suggested he might have had the motivation to do so. Yet, there was no concrete evidence linking him to the incident. Still, the possibility remained, and the authorities knew that any leads must be thoroughly explored. What made the situation even more baffling were the odd circumstances surrounding the timing of the malfunction. It wasn't just a random glitch or a failure due to neglect. It occurred at a critical juncture, during a high-profile operation that had the attention of not just the organization, but the entire world. The stakes were incredibly high, and the technical systems involved were some of the most advanced and secure in the industry. For such a failure to happen during this specific operation raised more questions than it answered. Was this genuinely an accident, or was there something more sinister at play? Could the malfunction have been part of a larger, more elaborate scheme designed to disrupt the operation? Or was it a message, a warning, sent by those who stood to gain from such a failure? The investigators were faced with a dilemma. They could not dismiss the possibility of foul play without exploring every angle, no matter how far-fetched it seemed. And so, the investigation expanded to include not just a technical analysis, but also a deep dive into the motives of those involved, including Guy D, who was now firmly under suspicion. As the investigation progressed, the tension continued to mount. The public, eager for answers, began to question everything. How could something like this happen with all the safeguards in place? Why did it take so long for anyone to realize that the malfunction had occurred? And most importantly, was this just an accident, or was there something far more dangerous at work? In the meantime, Yendi remained adamant that the truth would eventually surface. "The truth has a way of coming out, no matter how much time it takes," she said during a press conference. "We will uncover the full extent of what happened, and we will find out if this was truly an accident or if there were deeper forces at play." Her words, though reassuring, did little to calm the public's growing unease. The waiting game had begun. As of now, the investigation is still ongoing. Law enforcement has yet to make any official statements regarding the cause of the malfunction. While some initial reports suggest that it was a simple technical error, others are less convinced. For now, the world waits, hoping for a clear explanation, even as the darker questions about motive and intent continue to swirl. Whether it was truly an accident or something more insidious remains to be seen. One thing is certain: the truth will eventually come out, one way or another. The investigation is far from over, and every piece of evidence will be examined with a microscope. As for Guy D and others who may be implicated, their past actions will undoubtedly play a crucial role in determining their involvement, or lack thereof, in the incident. For now, the world watches and waits, hoping that the answers will finally arrive. M's legal team thus far, no formal charges have been brought, but the probe is continuing. Stay with us for real-time information. We'll keep you updated on every twist and turn of this astonishing narrative as it develops. Stay tuned for the most up-to-date news on Yendi Smith's health state, the continuous legal struggles of MES, and the eventual conclusion of the inquiry. Our staff is continuously following in all developments to provide you accurate and reliable information when fresh information surface. Will bring in-depth coverage, expert analysis, and unique insights into the case, whether it's updates on Yendi's recuperation, remarks from key individuals, or courtroom revelations. You won't want to miss a moment. The situation is moving swiftly, and we are devoted to reporting the newest information as soon as it becomes available. Make sure to remain active by commenting, and sharing your opinions on this unfolding story. Your voice important, and we encourage your thoughts as this case continues to develop. Make sure to subscribe and activate on alerts so you never miss a vital update. This is a tale that has caught broad spread interest, and we'll be here to cover every facet from judicial processes to personal declarations. We'll break down all the essential elements and give thorough coverage. Remain with us for live updates and expert views as we unearth the truth behind this unfolding issue.